Hey guys, welcome to Get Slydewayz with me, Barry Clapp. We're here in the shop talking a little drifting, talking a little getting Slydewayz. We've got a pretty good show lined up for you tonight. A newcomer, maybe not a newcomer, a guy that's been around for a while, but it's new to us. Referred by a good friend, happened to be in town, so we snagged him. Mr. Chad Campbell's in the house with us tonight, so we'll be asking Chad some funny questions, and he's got some good stories to tell us, he says, so we'll get to that here in just a sec. Before we get started real good, everybody go to, right here on Facebook, be sure and give us a follow. Go to Instagram, go to Spotify, get on that podcast deal with Spotify and like us and follow us. Help us grow this audience so we can continue to bring you good content. I got to say a little word about Forge Line Wheels real fast. So, we don't just drift. We do the autocross thing too. And I'm in the middle of building this truck back here. And the guys at Forge Line Wheels have really hooked us up with a nice slamming set of wheels for that thing. So it won't be long till they're built and they're on their way and they're installed on the truck and we'll be able to show them to you. But I just want to say a little shout out to the guys at Forge Line Wheels. If anybody's doing any kind of a high dollar build, race car, street rod, muscle car, autocross car, any of those guys, be sure and check out Forge Line Wheels because they make some beautiful wheels and they're light and they're strong. They're made for big power. They're made to be able to handle anything you can throw at them. So go check out Forge Line Wheels, see their line, see what they've got. They're gonna help us out on our monster that we're building over here in the background. So soon to be displayed once we get them in and get them mounted up and all that good stuff. 20 by 12s with 335s all the way around. So she's going to be nasty. So anyway, all that being said, let's get to it, man. Mr. Chad Campbell in the house. He's living in an RV over here next to Percy Priest Lake while he's out of town, all the way from North Carolina, you said?
That's right.
Nice, yep. Nice. Said the wife is here working in town, got a good contract. That's pretty sweet.
Yep.
And you're able to do the remote thing, so you can do whatever. You can just follow her around.
Yep, Starlink.
Nice.
That is the
nice.
savior. Without that, I'd be in North Carolina in the house.
Nice. I love it. I love it. You said she even drives the RV sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she drives the RV. I'm sitting on the couch, drinking a beer, got the TV going.
I love it, man. I love it. That's fantastic. Mine won't even do nothing. She wants to sit in the RV. She wants to sit on that passenger side and watch. She's a good-looking seat cover, but that's all we've got on that deal.
Yeah, we take turns. I usually take the first stint so that I can, take the second stint and drink my beer.
Yeah, get it over with.
Yeah, maybe, if it's like a race or something going on, or I want to rewatch some Formula Drift or something, throw that on the TV, kind of relax for the last half of the trip usually.
That's right. I'm in.
That's the only way to travel now.
Dude,
I'm spoiled.
I love it. I love mine. We go 3 or 4 times a year. We go down to Cruising the Coast every year in October, and we handle the autocross for them down there. Okay. And so that's what we do. We pull the RV, we park that baby right on the strip where thousands of street cars, cool-looking show cars are going by all day long. And we make a week out of it, make a vacation out of it. We autocross Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we just hang out and have a good time,
Yeah, that's freaking awesome,
It's neat. It's a good time. Yeah. It's a good show. We've been trying to get them to let us do a little drift exhibition down there sometime, and they did a couple of years ago, but it just kind of fizzled out. So every year we mention it to them and try to get them to let us bring drift cars back down there and show off a little bit. So
that'd be fun.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's pretty cool. It's right on the Gulf Coast. You're right there on the beach, and it's a 30-mile long car show. That's what it is. And there's thousands and thousands of...
Definitely need to get some drifting out there.
Dude, absolutely. And
we got pretty cars, too. They're not all beaters.
Oh, that's right. They're not all missiles. That's right. You got a good-looking little C5 I saw on your page there. Tell me about that livery, man. That's pretty wild. That's pretty 80s and 90s, right?
Yeah. So that's actually... It's paint under that.
Oh, no
It's real paint. The Miami blue is real paint.
No kidding.
Shout out to Ronnie's Auto Body. They sponsor me right on the side. He sprayed it. And then, we got the livery put on top. And the inspiration actually came from a Matco toolbox.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
The 80 series toolbox.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, the way that happened was, so my buddy Daniel Cruz, he's the one that painted the car. He kept bugging me, hey, you gonna let me paint that car? You gonna let me paint the car, man? And I was like, what is he talking about painting the car? I don't really have time or money to mess with it. And he was like, no, man, we can put the name on. I was like, oh, you're talking about sponsoring the car.
Come on.
Now we're talking.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
He was like, it just needs to be a color I like. I was like, name it. We'll work it out.
Yeah.
And he was like, Miami blue is my favorite color.
Oh.
So I looked it up, and he's like, "Come, let me show you this toolbox."
Nice.
And toolbox is not quite Miami blue, but it's close.
Right.
And then I saw that livery, like that 80s Miami
like
Vice
the
thing.
sunset thing with the
Yeah.
lines in it.
And I was
very,
like, that's it.
yeah, very
That's
much.
it. That's what I want. Something
it's funny,
different.
It's funny how that's become big here, in the last few years.
Yeah, and my timing was perfect for that.
Nice.
Because then everything around me just blew up. Like, and maybe I wasn't paying attention as much, but it was like, man, everything is like 80s now.
Yeah.
So
We've got 2 or 3 here in town. We've done a couple ourselves. We do wraps and stuff, and we've done a couple of those 80s style looks like that. The pinks and the blues and the yellows and the aquas. Man, back in the day, see, I'm old school. I was pinstriping cars back when that was the style. So I did all those crazy looking heartbeats of America with the checker, the cubes breaking loose and splatter. I used to do all that for real back when it was in style.
wow,
So it's kind of funny that it's come full circle and it's coming back.
it really stands out on the track,
So like
big time.
we do some work every once in a while. Power Nation TV is here in town. They shoot over in Franklin, and they are doing a Mustang, a little Mustang convertible, Fox body, and it's going to look like it.
Okay,
So
yeah.
can't say much more about that.
Yeah.
But that's going to be a cool set of episodes. Them guys are pretty funny. They've got something pretty cool in store for everybody. For
Nice.
that,
Makes
so.
for some good merch too.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know, all
right.
the bright
dude.
colors, because in racing in general, everything's just black.
Absolutely.
So having those different colors, like I've got a lot of my merch is like blue, that real bright aqua blue.
Yep.
Something different.
Yep.
So
Heck,
yeah.
that's what I do. I got the pink and the white,
love
and I've got the Tiffany blue for the girls. They love that too. So
Absolutely.
yeah, it's a killer color. I like the way that works out. That's really sweet. So like you kind of landed in a spot where you're able to travel around a little bit and hit some other events and do some cool stuff. You're here in Nashville all the way till LS Fest, you said?
Yeah, till September.
How about that?
We will leave the campground to go to LS Fest and leave LS Fest to go home.
No, that's pretty
So
cool.
it's like the great way to end our little
Yeah.
vacation. I've never been to LS Fest, so this is going to be real fun.
You'll love it.
I'm actually going to be helping another driver out there, Nick Abbott. I don't know, some
Oh, yeah,
people may
okay.
know who that is.
Yeah.
He's going to be driving, and also the guy who tunes my car, JD, with J-Speed. He's going to be there, so he tunes Nick's car.
Nice.
So I'm going to be there helping support, our little drift family, I guess
Very
you call
cool.
it.
So I got you. So you don't actually have your car in tow. You're not going to get to drive that deal? Or?
No, unfortunately not. I really
I
wanted
got you.
to, but the logistics of having my car in Nashville was a nightmare.
I can't imagine. Yeah.
I didn't know where to put it, nowhere to work on it. It was just, I couldn't make it happen. We talked about trying to get somebody to tow it out here for me, but then, I don't know, that's just, logistically, it's just probably not going to work out. Now, if my car shows up at LS Fest, I'll drive.
I'm telling you. Right. Why not? Okay, everybody out there. Everybody over in North Carolina got to get this man's car here. So somebody reach out.
There you
Somebody
go.
that's coming this way, deadhead, with nothing in the trailer. Reach out. Let's go. Let's
That'll
get
be
this car in
fun.
here.
It'll be a lot of fun. If things go well, I'm gonna plan to drift it next year.
Very sweet. It's a great show, man. Like I drove the first 7. I was part of the very first drift exhibition. They came to us and they were like, "Be cool if we could do some kind of a drift exhibition." And they called me because I was running Tennessee Drift at the time.
Okay.
And it wasn't but 3 or 4 years old. And I called Nick Thomas. If you've ever heard of Nick Thomas, he's a guy that lives here in Franklin. Used to have a Formula D license, ran a little bit. And he was like, my car's down, this, that. But he was in the process of trying to put a Formula D car together back then. And he was like, I don't know. And I said, dude, this is for television. Get your car put together and get up there and do this. And he was like, all right. So he did. And it was when Joe Elmore had the Horsepower TV
Okay, I
show.
remember that.
You remember
Definitely.
that?
Oh yeah.
Joe just passed away. He had a long illness, and he just in the last month has passed away on us. But he was a great guy, and it was a pleasure for me to be on his show a couple of times, and to even help set up that first drift exhibition. The first drift exhibition was just one car out there sliding around.
Oh really?
That's all it
Wow.
was.
What year was that?
Oh my gosh, that was 10 years ago. I mean,
Okay.
it was
Yeah,
probably it was 14-ish, maybe even
Okay.
more than that.
Which is kind of crazy because drifting just exploded in the last
Yeah.
5 years or
Yeah,
so.
absolutely.
So-
With all the pop-up, like shootout style events, I love that.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
James Roulette says, we know too many people not to get that thing over here.
We've already got a volunteer. Check
All
it out.
right.
James Rowlett's a guy that's over here in where's he? Right here in Lebanon somewhere. Got his little shop over here, and he's been a drag race guy.
Okay.
And he's been on that TV show, Fastest Cars of the Dirty South, whatnot. He's been on that show a couple times, and he's new to drifting, and he's getting really good. He helped us do the little hot rod power tour drift thing we just did.
Okay.
He came and was a part of that and did really well. So I appreciate that, James. Let's see who we know. We can maybe make this happen.
I mean, if I got somewhere to park it, I'll go back home and get it.
Shit,
that's the problem.
I got a shop in Murfreesboro. I might have room in here. We could probably put it in here for a day or two. You know, we'll work that out. That's what's beautiful about the drift family, man.
That is the community right there.
You know?
Everybody looks out for everybody.
Absolutely. We'll figure out a place to put that thing. You go get it. Heck, you need to go get it by next weekend. We got a drift event at the Super Speedway next weekend that I'm doing.
I saw that.
Have you ever been to Nashville?
I haven't. Well, I've been to Nashville, but I have not been to the Super Speedway for any of the drifting or any of that. So
it's big and it's fast.
I
and
love
it's fun.
fast drifting.
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah,
is it third gear in the Z06?
Absolutely.
That's what I love.
Absolutely.
You can hit third gear on any course in the Z06, man. That's a different feeling.
That's where
that car belongs.
That's right. That's what we just did at NCM, and that's what this was. Those videos of this car, that's third gear in NCM, down in that hole and back up and out and rolling the smoke. It's good times. It's awesome.
That's like VIR. That's third gear coming down the hill.
So that was Hyperfest, right?
Yes,
you went and did
Hyperfest.
I'm so jealous. I gotta go do a Hyperfest.
So
tell me about Hyperfest, man, because I want to go.
Hyperfest is such an amazing event.
Yeah,
in itself, even if you don't drive.
Just to go.
Just to go. It is what I call motorsports crack.
Nice.
It is amazing. Well, you get to camp out for 3 days, and it's like road racing going on, drifting's going on. You got, they do different things around, like some live music in the evenings. Then there's like a club Hyperfest at night. They have a burnout pit with a big burnout competition.
Nice.
They do the Power Wheels downhill stuff.
Nice.
It's literally everything. It's a giant motor sports party.
Just a big party.
Yeah, and everybody
kind of like a Grid Life.
It's like that, but I haven't been to Grid Life, but I've heard it's similar.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Hyperfest is just a different level, in my opinion.
Well, and you're hot lapping the whole road course, right?
Well, really. So there's two different aspects of drifting at Hyperfest. The first one is Friday and Saturday. It's the Patriot course. That's the small course that's inside the big course.
Okay.
It's really still high speed.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have different run groups. You've got the pros, Group A, which is caged experienced drivers, and in Group B, your single car kind of guys. And you rotate throughout the day.
Okay.
It is kind of hot lap, though. You got like a 30, 45-minute session. So,
I got you.
You're not really going to have a lot of time to go, like, let your car cool down or change tires. I mean, you can, like, once, but your session will be over with by then. And then on Sunday, they have a skid pad, and they let you do – that's more of your traditional parking lot style.
I see.
Around some cones. It's still fun.
Yeah.
So, and they, just about anybody can do that. There's no run groups or anything. If you pay for the drifting pass, Sunday you can just go out on the skid pad.
I see. But
the most fun is coming down the hill at VIR because it's third gear, 60, 70, 80, depending on your car map when you enter to come down that hill. Nice. And it's thrilling. And then when you flip back, you're looking at like a wall barrier and the crowd. And it's insane. And then you have to maintain that momentum to drift all the way down the hill. It's a huge turn. Nice. You gotta commit. You can't commit. You need to pull a handbrake right there. You probably need 6-7 horsepower. Wow. So you pull a handbrake, you're not gonna make it. You're gonna be clutch kicking and handbraking at the end of the turn to try to make it. Oh, I see. But that transition, you just gotta be full throttle and just send it. And just flick it. Just go with it. That's the only way. That's awesome. I love it. I want to go to that. It seems like I say that every year, and it sneaks up on me. I don't ever remember to register. I got to go to that event sometime. It's my birthday every weekend. Nice. I mean every year on that weekend, it's my birthday. So I remember it like, yep, that's my birthday party. Oh, that's what we're doing. Can you believe Hyperfest throws me such an awesome birthday party? But congratulations. That's awesome. That's fantastic. I need to do that. I need everybody out there to remind me to go to Hyperfest because I need to go and let the Slide Factory brand be seen. That'd be great. Lots of people come from all over too, whether they fly in or drive in. So don't some of the big dogs come, don't they? Oh yeah. Don't they come and play? Vaughn Gittin was there, Ben Hobson. Yeah. there was a whole bunch of other pros. I don't remember off the top
Nice.
of my head. Force, I don't know, not Force Wang was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different ones.
That's cool.
They're there, and they do demos and stuff.
Yeah.
And yes, it's just great. And usually they're hanging out too and partying and stuff. So
That's pretty sweet. That's what Grid Life is. Grid Life's real similar to that. I got to drive in 2 Grid Lives at Road Atlanta before they quit going to Road Atlanta. I got to do the last 2 of those.
is that the same course as the FD course?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
We came down the hill.
Man,
The
that'd
only
be
thing they
amazing.
did is they didn't, it was the old FD course. So we turned in early and did the horseshoe
Up.
and then went back under the
Yeah,
bridge.
right.
Instead of coming all the way around and back down, we did it the original way.
Okay.
And but the first time we went, like it was one of the first times they'd ever done it, so they wouldn't let us do anything else. Only the pro guys got to do anything else.
Okay.
But second time I went, I guess the nude wore off of it a little bit like that, and they freed us up. So we were doing the downhill S's too.
Nice.
And I've on my YouTube channel, I've got in-car video coming down them S's and in my taxi. So I had that M45 with that LSA blown 6.2 in it,
Oh,
and
wow.
and coming down the hill and rocking her back and forth down them S's is something else.
I bet that's so
The first
fun.
2 turns are completely blind.
Yeah.
You know, just like the road course guys say, you got to find that tree.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And and so you're doing that sideways and hoping it's there.
That's a different adrenaline, you know.
Yes.
I'm finding in drifting that you find different adrenaline. You know, when you first get into it, just sliding the car sideways and linking the
dude.
course. That's your
Yep.
hit, right?
Yep.
Then once you get good, and it's like you tandem with somebody, and you're chasing them, and you get right up on them, and you're like,
Yep.
you get that adrenaline. Well, I found a new adrenaline at my last event.
Yeah.
I had never truly been smoked out before,
Oh.
and I got to chase Jonathan Nairn, which he's a former FD
Oh yeah.
pro and
I'm well.
1,000
yes.
horsepower
Yes.
S14. I
Yes.
got to chase him, and I was in the middle of his smoke. Couldn't see anything. And then I would punch right through it, and I'm like, I'm where I'm supposed to be. And that, like, I had another adrenaline. I was like, oh, wow, that was amazing. So I don't, but I don't know.
love that.
When all that wears off, I don't know what's going to happen. It's
I
like,
know, right? Now, what's the next hit, right? So I have almost the same Jonathan Nairn story. A few years ago, we did the Turismo drift thing where we did. No, it was the Tennessee State Drift. That's what it was. And we did 2 events in Memphis, 2 events here in Nashville, and 2 events over in East Tennessee. Because we used to have 3, drift organizations in Tennessee. And so the 3 of us promoters got together and made a Tennessee State of Drift series out of that. And the first event was in Memphis. And I went, and I was going to compete. And I had, at the time, I had a little S14 with that same LSA 6.2 in it, so it was pretty rowdy. It was 2,600 pounds and probably 525 at the wheels at the time. This is 6 or 7 years ago. That was a rowdy car back then.
Absolutely.
And Nairn showed up, and he had an S14 that was, hell, he had a carbon fiber roof, and all the body was replaced, and it was already almost an FD car. If you remember, it was like an S14. It was gray and orange.
Okay.
And him and his teammate had opposite color cars. One of them was orange with gray, and the other one was gray with orange.
Mm-hmm.
That's when this was. And I just barely made it in the show. I qualified 16th, and he was number 1 qualifier. So guess who got to go
That's right. I know.
right out of the gate, And he was leading first because he was he was so much more powerful than me. I was sitting there on the line thinking, I've got to jump the start. I've got to, or he's going to run off and leave me. Well, lucky for me, he was sitting over there thinking, I'm going to start out slow and then I'm going to take off.
Yeah.
So Memphis was this deal where you left the line, and when you hit second gear, you cocked it, and you went all the way around, and you even went to third gear still in that same sweeper. So you had to shift while you were rolling, and had to be on it. And that adrenaline rush you're talking about, so we left the line, and I hit second gear, and I was with him, and I hit third gear, and I was still right on his door, and I was like, holy crap, I'm right on this guy's door. And then when we transitioned, I spun out because I was too excited, It was just so funny. But I get that whole adrenaline thing because I had it.
Yeah, that happened, I think, on practice the day before. But then the next day in comp, so I qualified 31st. It was 50 drivers showed up.
Wow, holy cow.
I think it was 48 official qualifiers. I think it was 48 guys that actually qualified.
Wow.
Which was insane. And look, this is a money series, so everybody's showing their A game. You know?
Yeah, they ready.
So I actually ended up having to make another qualifying run just to get in the show, which I got, but I did. I made it in the show, got 31st, and so that put me up against Joe Love, which his car's like Naren's, 1,000 horsepower S14. He won the last event. You know, he's on some sticky GT radials, and I'm like, here we go. And I had bought like 4 GT radials. And the rest were like Kendas, you know.
Yeah.
I stuck them on. I was like, I'm going against him. I'm going to be as sticky as I can be.
Yeah, you're going to have to.
And, of course, he left me at the line. And, you know, I cut my line in the first turn, of course, to catch up to him. But after that, I was right there. But then he starts to smoke me out, of course, right? Because he's got 1,000 horsepower.
Yeah.
But then I just remembered, just stay in it. You're going to punch through the smoke. And I did. And I was like, right there.
Nice.
I'm like, no. And then I was kind of with him the whole time. And I was like, no freaking way. I was like, all right, well, on my lead, I'm just going to send it because this is probably my last lap of the day.
Oh, nice.
You know, like I'm not doubting myself, but at the same time, I know what I'm competing against.
It is what
too.
it is, right? Yeah.
And so on my lead, like, you know, I sent it, he's right there. But then like 2 or 3 turns in, I actually pulled a gap on him.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't know that. You know, we got up to the line, I'm waiting for the result. I thought immediately they were going to be like, Joe.
Yeah.
We're sitting there waiting, and I'm like, what's going on? You know, and he got the win. But when we went back and looked at the footage, it was close.
Wow, good.
And I was like, holy cow. Like, I was just pumped. I went back to the pits, and, you know, I was like, I'm so happy that, like, I even got close to that guy.
Yeah.
You know, I don't drive as
Makes
much. I don't have 1,000 horsepower,
Yeah.
none of that, you know.
Yeah.
But if I hadn't got that lap with Jonathan Naren, I wouldn't have had that confidence to punch through that smoke.
Oh, yeah, I get that. Absolutely.
You know, because it's just one of those things. Like, you don't know what to do. But I knew that, like, he's fast. He's going to be there. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's not going to be choked up and nothing. He's going to be ahead of you. So just go through it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying for everybody, don't go do that if the car's not fast.
Yeah, don't do that on a slower car, folks. All right, guys, that's actually segment number 1 already. I told you it goes quick, man, when you talk about something you love. So we're going to take a little short break here. Be sure and smash that like and subscribe button on Instagram, Spotify, golly, what else? Facebook, TikTok, all those slide factories where it's at. Get Slydewayz with me, Barry Clapp. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Finch with Finch Performance, and we're just going to take a quick little peek around the shop here to see some of the different things that we work on around here. So first up, we've got some chassis in production. We've got a small backlog right now, but we're knocking out some 67 to 72 C10 stuff. We've got a really cool 67 crew cab Chevy here, C10. We've made a custom one-off Apex Predator chassis with long arm suspension all the way around. This thing's going to be pretty badass. 56 F100 with a Coyote 10-speed. Just all we got left here is really getting the supercharger installed, finishing up the wiring and a little bit of the fuel system, get it fired off. And then, of course, we're back on our Ferrari 308 custom project here with the LT5 engine and a Graziano 6-speed transaxle. So this thing is going to be full kill, badass. And that's just some of the things we do here. So we don't just build trucks. We build a lot of everything. Main thing is we have a good time because that's what it's about.
If you guys are interested in getting a vehicle wrap done, or if you guys just need a banner made for your office or something cool like that, a mural on your walls, give Graphic Effects a call. 615-896-4301. They're in Middle Tennessee. They're the best in the business of what they do. If you need vinyl, you need stickers, you need wraps, give these guys a shout. Graphic Effects, 896-4301, 615.
Hey guys, welcome back to Get Slydewayz with me, Barry Clapp. We're here in the studio. Man, we're already having a good time. Mr. Chad's telling us some good stories about, high-speed drifting. That's what we were talking about during the break. We're talking a little bit of Nashville Super Speedway. Wish he had his car here for this coming weekend. You need to at least come out. I mean, shoot, you can take that one for a spin or something.
I'll definitely try to make an appearance. I know we got some family coming in, so depending on what's going on with that, but
yeah,
I'm going to try everything I can to make it out there.
I got you. It's July 6th. There's a big Cars and Coffee out in the concourse in front of the track that starts at like 7 in the morning. So you'll see everything that you can imagine. All the supercars come out the first Saturday of the month, and that ends at about 10 o'clock. And that's when our gates open down into the infield. So anybody out there that's going to go to Cars and Coffee, plan on hanging around. It's $20. Come on into the infield and see anything that you want to driving wise. We'll have these high dollar builds autocrossing all of Finch's trucks. There's a couple of Tesla guys that come out and autocross with us with slicks on. They're the fastest things there. It's crazy to watch. They lay down some laps. But then we'll be drifting on the road course out there in the turns 1 and 2 into the Nashville Super Speedway. Now, it remains to be seen whether or not we have to run it backwards or we can run it forwards, and that's what I was telling you. The forwards deal is down pit road into the big sweeper at 100 miles an hour.
100 miles an hour. You still in third gear on the Z06?
No. I'm in the middle of fourth. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was in the middle of fourth in that big heavy taxi that I had with 3 people in the car.
Wow. Fourth gear. Because, the Corvettes are geared so long.
Yeah.
And fourth gear entry, that's pretty wild.
You're smoking, and you don't do nothing but flick the car a little bit. That's all you do. And your entry point is basically, the pit road's coming around, the trival's coming around, and the grass comes to a point, and that's what I shoot for.
Okay.
So I'm coming down pit road, and I'm out here by the grass, and I let the car kind of wander in toward pit road, and I kind of pointed at that grass and then clutch kick that sucker right at the tip of that grass, and then around you go.
Nice.
And it's about 7 seconds around through there. You get to hold it for quite a while.
Wow. That sounds like fun.
You're flying too. Like you're hauling the mail. I had this one video in the taxi. I had this little kid in the back seat, and he was a little thin sucker, and his helmet was a little bit too big for him. And I used to have a 360 camera in the car, so you could look back and look at their faces and stuff. And when I threw that thing sideways at 100 mile an hour, the 100 mile an hour wind come in the window and about sucked his helmet off his head. He had to catch it,
Oh, man.
It was funny.
That's an experience right there.
It's a blast. Now, if we don't get to run it forward, it's still awesome because it starts out on the back stretch, and there's a set of S's that are downhill down into it, and that's actually more fun to drive it that way for tandeming and whatnot, because when you're trying to tandem and that big long fast sweeper, it separates
that's going to
everybody.
separate almost everybody.
Yeah, and then you can't ever get back together. But when we start up on the back stretch and come down to S's, man, you're right on top of each other, and you can stay that way all the way through.
Oh, nice.
And we'll run 3 and 4 and 5 car trains that way, and it's a blast. Makes for some good video.
Yeah, sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, you need to come out and check that out. It's 10 to 4 spectator gates. It's this Saturday, July the 6th. It's the Nashville. No, next Saturday. This Saturday they're doing the NASCAR stuff.
That's right. Yep.
So like the trucks and the Xfinity and the Cup are all here for this weekend. So that's a blast too. Like there's some good racing out there. I don't know what it is with the new car and the new tire and whatnot. Because back in the day, the Super Speedway wasn't great racing. It got single file, it got strung out, and it was kind of a yawn festival. But man, they've been here, this will be the 3rd year in a row, and every restart is 4 wide going down in the first corner, and it stays like that for 8 or 10 laps. It's pretty
That's awesome. Yeah, actually I have tickets for Sunday.
Do you?
Yep, and probably going to the truck race Friday night, most likely.
Gotcha.
I grew up around NASCAR, so I'm from South Boston, Virginia.
Oh, perfect.
There's
great
racetrack. Everybody knows South Boston.
Yeah.
So I grew up around that. So yeah, I still follow NASCAR a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm in Nashville and they're gonna have a race in Nashville. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, you got to.
I've been over to the Fairground Speedway a few times and checked out some racing over there.
So they're literally running tonight. They're running right now.
Yeah.
And who is it that's over there with them? Ross Chastain and
I think Chase Elliott maybe.
Or
they're running the pro lates, right?
Yeah, they're running the pro late models, 150 laps. Like we do a couple of them, and there's one guy in particular that lives around here close by that I've been doing his stuff since he was racing, and now his son's racing. And I called him last week. I had forgot about the race. I'm like, y'all want to do the show Thursday night? And they said, we'd love to, but we got that Thursday night race at the fairgrounds. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's the one where the NASCAR guys are coming.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool. Who's the other guy? There's another driver. I can't remember who it is. There's one other NASCAR guy going to run with him.
When I was over there, I don't know, it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. This is the drifter in me.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the course, and I'm like, how could we drift here? You know, it's like every track I go to, that's in my brain. I'm like, how could I drift here?
You can't not. Once you've done it, you can't. It just gets in you. You can't get away from it. So that's where I started Tennessee Drift all the way back in 2009.
Okay. Did you have a layout out there that could work?
We did. We did the, so there's the little oval inside the big oval. That's right,
yeah.
So we basically did the little oval with a little switchback in the center and then do the other side.
Okay.
And then, we always thought about the banking, but it's 18 degrees. It's steep.
That's going to drag you down. Going to try to push you back down if you don't have a lot of speed. Yeah.
So when we did the Turismo drift stuff I was telling you about, we started out on the big track back at the entrance to turn 3 facing the wrong way down the backstretch and went down in there and did up against the wall, left foot braking, and did all the way around that turn. And then when you came down into the infield, hard right, and then did the track this way and came back to the start-finish line.
Okay.
And that was the course that we did at Turismo, and it was the craziest looking thing to see them cars. They're smoking the right front tire too,
right?
Trying to keep the woe down so they can keep it up on the wall. Because if you didn't, it, like you said, it'd push you down the track.
Yeah. I actually helped run the Sobo drifts that we at South Boston Speedway.
Yeah.
They went through a track manager change, so it's been a little while since we've done it. They didn't do it any this year. Trying to get it back going next year.
Yeah.
But the first event, it was all infield. And there will be a lot of spectators come because it's local.
Yeah.
They're like, what's going on at the racetrack?
Sure.
So it's very unique. Usually in these drift events, people don't show up.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, it's friends and family, but there's no spectators.
Yeah.
So it was unique that you'd have all these spectators there. So I was like, we have to figure out how to get closer.
Mm-hmm.
So what I come up with is you go down the backstretch. That's where you start.
Yeah.
And you would start drifting turn 3, but not up against the wall. You could get close to it, but you would basically do a U-turn down the hill onto pit road.
Oh,
which was very,
come around the pit and then
it was very unique and challenging for all the drivers, and they loved it because it's like you're going off camber downhill, and the car wants to spin out, but that's the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would kick it back down pit road. You could manji if you wanted to, but risky. People did anyway and hit the wall.
Sure.
But,
it's narrow, isn't it?
Yes, it's for drifting, it's narrow. If you need to be super comfortable, manji that pit road. And I told in the driver's meeting, I was like, guys, don't do it unless you're comfortable because you're going to hit the wall.
Yeah.
If you mess up, you're not going to catch it. You're going to freaking hit the wall.
No time, yeah.
And then, so there was an opening into the infield.
Gotcha.
And that was a tight U-turn. We stacked tires and everything up. It worked. It would never work for comp. Never work for comp. But for fun days, it's perfect. Then once you're in the infield, you can kind of do whatever you need to do.
I got you.
Super fun layout and course. Everybody loved it. I want to do a comp somehow. But the layout there's too many walls in the way because it's meant for NASCAR. Proper NASCAR, like Truck Series and stuff like that.
It's all chopped up.
And so they've got those, you've got pit lane, but then on the other side is also a concrete wall.
Oh, right, yeah.
So now, now the whole track is separate from the infield.
There's like a pit road wall, and then there's an inside wall of the track,
That's
and then
right.
there's the outside wall of the track. So there's 3 concrete walls.
Right, and that makes it challenging to make
Yeah.
a layout that's high speed and fun. Because if it's all in the infield, it's very simple and not high speed. If you want to use the banking, now you have a difficulty of getting into the track. So,
yeah.
a lot of NASCAR tracks have that issue if you want to try to drift them. But I don't know.
Yeah, we ran into that at the fairgrounds. I wish, the best tracks are like what they've done at Lanier, where they did away with all the inside walls and just paved the whole bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Beach Bend, where LS Fest is similar to that. The only weird thing about Beach Bend is to create banking, they had to dig down.
Oh, wow.
So, the infield is even with the straightaways, but in the corners there's an embankment because to make banking they dug it down this way so that you kind of drive downhill into the corner and uphill back up. So that's a challenge to some of the newer drifters that come to Beach Bend to drive, because they'll be nervous of the wall, so they want to stay to the inside. But if you get too far to the inside, your left front will get up on the banking and it'll suck you into the infield. It's a challenge to do that. Plus, they've got these great big drainage grates that'll rip they'll rip a wheel off your car if you're not careful.
Speaking of banking, Jonathan Nairn said you had to be committed.
Jonathan Nairn, man.
Absolutely, you got to be committed.
Thanks for watching, man. I want to know if he remembers that day in Memphis when I was on his door and then I got too excited and spun out. That's been a long time ago. He probably don't remember who I am. But
I have a good story about a whole banking situation. So Southampton Motor Speedway, I believe it's called.
Okay.
They just repaved somebody bought the track, repaved the entire inside.
Nice.
And that's where, so in the off season, that's when I got the roll cage and major upgrades in my car.
Cool.
So I needed to test it.
Yeah.
They do open test days. You just got to reach out
nice.
to them and all that, right? So I was like, perfect. And you kind of get to set whatever layout you want. You just tell them, they'll go take the golf cart, put the cones down.
Oh, that's sweet.
And they did that. And she was like, if you want to get up on the wall and get up on the banking. I was like, I'm just testing. I probably won't. First lap. I'm up next to I'm blowing marbles up in the air on first lap. I'm like, you can't get that out of me.
Yes.
I don't know what it is. You cannot get that out of me.
I feel it. I feel you.
He said, yes, sir, I remember. Good times, my man.
Oh, nice. Thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate that. That was a great day for me.
Yeah.
It really was.
Yes.
I was tickled to death to be able to hang with you for just a few seconds. It didn't end well, but it was good while it lasted. I appreciate that.
Yeah, shout out to Jonathan Nairn, too.
Absolutely.
He's a big, I would say, a coach of mine
That's
at the
cool.
racetrack. I always ask him questions.
Great dude.
He's an open book to me and
Great
helps me
dude.
so much
Absolutely.
with my car. I just ask questions.
Nice.
And he gives me the best advice,
Nice.
and I apply it. That's the biggest thing I'll tell anybody.
Yeah.
Look, if you're going to bother these guys, apply the advice.
Absolutely. Don't be what we call an ask hole.
Right.
Where you ask advice and you get it and then you don't use it. That's what we call an ask hole. So don't be that guy.
Apply it and you will see results. I promise you.
Well, that's the thing about talking to anybody like Jonathan or even the other guys that are the pro guys that have been doing this a long, long time. They're good because they know what they're doing. So if they tell you to do something, do it, man. They're not going to tell you wrong. This isn't like, that's what's great about the drift community. This isn't drag racing where they might lie to you to be able to beat you.
Yep.
That's what I love about drifting is they'll tell you the right thing because they want you up on their door. They want you to compete with them. I love that.
Absolutely.
I love
we're
that.
not going to let, I don't want a win just because you couldn't get your car right.
No.
Even if you broke something, take my part, put it on your car so we can race each other.
Yeah, I love that, that they'll even chime in and help you fix the thing. Yeah, we've run into that too, man. I think at that same event, me and another driver got together and hurt my car pretty good, and like two other guys from other teams helped us fix it to be able to be in that first round. So I mean, that's what I love about drifting. See, I come from the round track world, and man, them guys will lie to you. They'll tell you something that ain't right because they're trying to beat you and they don't want you as fast as they are.
Can't have that edge, but in drifting, it's more about the driver.
That's right.
And so it doesn't matter, right? I can tell you run this tire pressure or do that to your car. That doesn't mean that you're going to win.
You still got to beat me. That's right.
That's right. Yeah.
I want you to be as close as you can. You still got to beat me. That's right. I love that. Man alive, this is a lot of fun. So let's go back to like the. I want to hear more about this event, the Hyperfest thing.
Yeah.
Like I want to go to Hyperfest. So tell me more about Hyperfest, man. I want to go. I want to be a part of that. So you get like 3 days worth of deal. What's it cost?
Yeah. So as a driver, I want to say it cost me roughly $600.
That's your entry fee kind of thing?
The entry fee, but see, the entry fee comes with 2 passes.
Yeah.
So you and a crew member.
Okay.
It comes with your camping pass
pass to get
So
in?
really, it only costs about maybe $150, $200 to drive. It's really not that bad of a deal.
Yeah.
Because your camping would cost that, your general admission tickets.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So as a bundle, it's really not that bad. A lot of people complain because you don't get a lot of seat time. And what I'll say is if you're coming to Hyperfest to drive, you're not coming for seat time.
I get it.
You're coming to have a fun time, to get exposure.
I get it.
That's what it's about. Have fun, get exposure. If you need seat time, don't go to Hyperfest.
Well, that's what a lot of these big events are like, though. That's the same thing with Grid Life.
Yeah.
I mean, Grid Life, you might get 4 1-hour sessions, and there's 40 of you.
Yeah, that's
So
kind of similar.
You're only going to make 3 laps at a grid life. You're not going to get a ton of seat time for that.
Yep, it's more to me about the exposure and the fun.
Yeah.
Like all the fans that come out and see it, and they, when I'm done drifting, they come by and look, look at my merch. They talk to me about the car, and I get to interact with fans and tell them about drifting if they've never seen it before.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff is really awesome. I like that more so than like the amount of seat time that you would get, say, if you just went to VIR and rented the track or something like that. Yeah, it's super fun.
Yeah,
but the whole vibe is why I go.
That's pretty sweet.
It's worth it to me.
I need to go up there just to study it so that I can create something like that down here.
Oh, that would be.
We've got
awesome.
two different racetracks that would love to have something like that. The Super Speedway and the new. I'm telling you, the people at NCM, the Corvette track up there, they love it, and they've never allowed it until last year, like 6 or 7 years ago, maybe more than that. 3 or 4 guys went up there and did some testing, and the cars they brought were too loud, and the track said never mind. And then it never happened. And that track's been open for 10 or 12, maybe more than that, years. And I'll tell you this, it's an uppity Corvette track.
Yeah.
And they think they're a world-class facility, even though they don't host any kind of racing. It's just a club track. But they're tightwads about how they run the place. They're Corvette people,
Yeah.
And when they called us and wanted us to go up there and do a test, I was like, okay, yeah, I'd love to. I was shocked. Like, they didn't call me. There's a boy here in town named Justin that's they're relatively new to drifting, and they grabbed the Facebook page Nashville Drifting, and so everybody thinks that they are drifting in Nashville, and that's who the Corvette Museum reached out to, because it said Nashville Drifting. So, and poor Justin, he called me. He goes, "Oh my God, guess who just called me? And you need to call him back." I'm like, "Okay, I'll take care of it," like that. So, and that's how we got it to work.
Okay.
But we went up there and did a test, and I took this car, and I had another boy come, Wesley Cloud, in a C5, so that we would be accepted. We're Corvette people here. This is at the Corvette track, and it worked out great. And they had us that first event. It freaking poured the rain.
Of course.
It was awful. We did our drivers meeting with 20 guys carrying around 2 10-foot by 10-foot canopies as umbrellas. The videos of that are great. But we just did another one last 2 weeks ago, something like that, about a month ago, and very well received. They loved it. Like, they loved it. They want us to come back.
I'm glad the drifting is growing at that rate.
Yeah.
To where it's more accepting, because it used to be, we were the guys out messing around.
Yeah.
And now we're being taken a little more seriously.
Yeah.
So.
Bigger facilities are welcoming us in. I agree with that. That's very, very true. So hopefully maybe we can set up something where one day it's a 2-dayer and you go out there and you drift for a couple of days. We can, because it's like a 3.5 mile road course, and the only part we drift on is the east course that has a little sinkhole in it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if it would be possible to hot lap that whole track and do something really cool, because there's some other really good fast turns on it too. We just have to see what they said about it.
Yeah.
But, I feel like that'd be a good place, because their paddock is massive. We autocrossed on the paddock while we were drifting on the road course.
Okay. Yeah, so at Hyperfest, a lot of times on the paddock, they set up, whether it's, RTR comes out or whoever else. There's different ones every year. They come out and they do demos and stuff.
I see.
I'm trying to think. It was Drift HQ. That's what I'm thinking. So Drift HQ.
Yeah.
I think they normally come out, but this year is RTR. Either way, they come out and they set up these demos of the pro drivers and 2 or 3 cars, and they tandem super close.
Yeah.
They're just putting on a show, but it's really cool, especially people that are at Hyperfest, never seen drifting, and then you get to see these cars sliding door to door right next to each other. And especially the pros coming out doing their stuff. So
they do that kind of thing at SEMA and whatnot too. They used to do that, and I've seen those videos where it's all 3 of them, and they're like, man, if they're 2 inches apart.
Yeah, yes, yeah, they do a lot. They do a lot of that Hyperfest. They also have some off-road stuff they do at Hyperfest. It's literally everything. They do everything there.
I love the whole Power Wheels thing. We need to set up a Power Wheels downhill. We need to set one of those up sometime.
Yeah, what they do is they give the crowd a bunch of water balloons. And the idea is you're supposed to throw them at, the Power Wheels guys to make them spin out or get uncomfortable. That is not what happens. It breaks out into a crowd water balloon
Oh,
fight.
yeah, yeah.
It's the best, though.
I
It is
love
the
it.
best.
I love it. I love it. All right, guys, that's segment 2, talking Hyperfest, talking drifting, talking, golly, a little bit of everything. This is getting really fun. Hit that subscribe button, Instagram, TikTok, man, Facebook, all of them. Help us grow our audience so we can bring you more of this content. This is going really good. We'll be back in a minute. The debate is starting, so I can't wait to see what the 2 presidential candidates have to say. So we've got that on in the background here. But anyway, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Get Slydewayz with Barry Clapp.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Finch with Finch Performance, and we're just going to take a quick little peek around the shop here to see some of the different things that we work on around here. So first up, we've got some chassis in production. We've got a small backlog right now, but we're knocking out some 67 to 72 C10 stuff. We've got a really cool 67 crew cab Chevy here, C10. We've made a custom one-off Apex Predator chassis with long arm suspension all the way around. This thing's going to be pretty badass. 56 F100 with the Coyote 10-speed. Just all we got left here is really getting the supercharger installed, finishing up the wiring and a little bit of the fuel system, get it fired off. And then, of course, we're back on our Ferrari 308 custom project here with the LT5 engine and a Graziano 6-speed transaxle. So this thing is going to be full kill, badass. And that's just some of the things we do here. So we don't just build trucks. We build a lot of everything. Main thing is we have a good time because that's what it's about.
If you guys are interested in getting a vehicle wrap done, or if you guys just need a banner made for your office or something cool like that, a mural on your walls, give Graphic Effects a call. 615-896-4301. They're in Middle Tennessee. They're the best in the business of what they do. If you need vinyl, you need stickers, you need wraps, give these guys a shout. Graphic Effects, 896-4301, 615.
All right, guys, welcome back. Get Slydewayz with Barry Clapp. We're here with, Mr. Campbell's telling us all kinds of fun stuff. We're going to switch gears just a little bit because I don't know if you guys know Chad or not, but Chad's been a mechanic in Formula D, has been chasing Alex Licklider around and keeping him running and looking good. So we've actually talked about that kind of thing 2 or 3 times on this show about the different, aspects of being just a crew guy that has to travel with a team and, whether you're getting paid, whether you're not getting paid, that kind of thing. So tell us your experience about that, because got a bug fly up my nose. Get out of here. Come on, leave me alone. Anyway, so you are a mechanic, or were a mechanic for Alex Licklider. So tell us about that.
Yeah. So I was last year, not currently this year. I'm kind of focusing on my own program. But yeah, last year I was a mechanic with Alex Licklider. It's 4 rounds in ProSpec. It's Atlanta, New Jersey, St. Louis, and Utah.
Wow.
So, and it's a lot of traveling as far as, I mean, you have to be at the track either Tuesday or Wednesday. At least last year's schedule. It's changed a little bit this year with the new format with the qualifying.
Oh, right.
But you would need to be loading in either Tuesday night or Wednesday morning.
For a Saturday event?
Well, Friday.
For a Friday.
Friday, yeah. So
Okay.
ProSpec, you're qualifying on Thursday and comps on
That's right.
Friday.
That's
and then all the pro stuff's on Saturday.
That's right. Okay.
So you'd have to take a bunch of time off work, if
Oh, yeah.
so that's a big part of it. I probably had to take, I want to say 15 days off from work. Luckily, I have a job where I'm able to do that. A lot of people don't. So
Yeah.
that could come into the factor of whether you think you should be paid or not.
Oh, yeah.
I want to say, drifting is we're not NASCAR.
No.
We're not. I would say majority of these positions that you can obtain, and especially at ProSpec level, you're probably not going to be paid.
Yeah.
It's going to be volunteer. But what you are paid in my opinion, is the experience, the networking, the opportunity, the people that you're going to meet.
Yeah.
Is invaluable. The things you're going to learn about the car and all is so much to it.
Yeah.
I think it's invaluable to me. I would never take back my experience.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, some guys, they say you should be paid. Maybe if you're at the pro level, I would say if you're doing pro, and you got that's 8 rounds.
Whew, man.
Unless somebody like me, that would be very difficult for me to do if I wasn't getting paid, because I can't take that amount of time off of work.
Plus, that's all the way to Florida. That's all the way to
It's
California.
all the
That's all the
traveling.
way to Washington. That's all the way to New Jersey. That's a lot of travel.
And I'm sure a lot of those guys are still volunteer, but maybe they're in a situation where they can.
Yeah.
I don't know that aspect of at the pro level. I only know that ProSpec, maybe some guys get paid, maybe some don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would say, if you can take the time off work and you want to be involved in drifting at that level, it is absolutely worth it. You're gonna, I can't put it in the words what the value that you will get out of it.
Just you yourself learned for your own program.
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can build your own program off of knowing how someone else runs theirs.
Sure.
You learn from that, and you watch the other people at the other track, at what they do. How do they run their program?
Yeah.
How many crew members do they have? What do they do when something breaks?
Yeah.
What do we do when something breaks?
Yeah.
Versus a higher budget team and a lower budget team, So like there's some teams even in ProSpec, if they blow a motor or a transmission, they have a spare ready to go. They're going to work until 3, 4, 5 a.m. replacing that. But some lower budget teams might not have that.
Yeah.
They could do something like a clutch, but like if our motor blows, like we're done.
Yeah, we're
putting
done.
it in a trailer.
Yeah.
So there's different levels to it too, right? Maybe the guys who can afford to have their spare motors can afford to pay you something.
Yeah.
So I think, it's really up to the individual to decide whether they can, one, afford it themselves to go on the experience, and two, is it worth the value? What do you need? What are you going to get out of it?
Yeah. That all came about. There was a post, this was several weeks ago on the show. There was a post leading into one of the ProSpec rounds where a ProSpec driver that we all know put up a post asking for help. Like, hey, I need a couple of crew guys to go to whatever that round was, and I can't pay you anything. I'll pay your hotel room, or maybe we'll all camp, or and I'll try to feed you, but I need help. And for, how people are. Some people were like, hey, get in there and help them, and some people were like lighting them on fire for even asking. And I'm just like, I just wanted to hear that from somebody like you that have done it, and why that it was more than worth your time.
Yeah, I think there's enough people willing to volunteer for it. It's kind of like, that's just where it's at. But the level of help that you get also depends. Yeah, there might be a guy out there with 20 years experience. Maybe he worked on a NASCAR team or an NHRA team or something, and he wants to be paid for his work.
Yeah.
Well, there's also another guy, maybe like me, who works on his own stuff, has a normal job, loves drifting, loves to be a part of it. Guy like me, yeah, I'm talented, but I'm not that other guy.
Yeah.
But I'll volunteer and do it.
Yeah.
And for what most likely that the ProSpec driver needs in his program, he doesn't necessarily need that NHRA guy or that NASCAR guy.
Sure.
He needs somebody that knows their way around a motor, knows how to turn a wrench,
Yeah.
and is willing to put in a little effort to help the team.
Yeah.
And the value that individual will get back is that they're going to learn how FD works. That in itself.
Yeah.
Just knowing how FD flows.
Yeah.
That's a whole thing. Like, you know, the inner workings of FD is a lot different than any other drift event that you go to. There's a lot of moving pieces and parts.
Yeah.
Things you're supposed to do and not supposed to do, that kind of stuff. So, like, you know.
I can't imagine.
Yeah. So, I would just say to anybody, if you want to get paid to do it, drifting's probably not where you should focus
not
your
at
attention.
first,
Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah. Maybe it'll grow to that point.
I hope it does. I hope at some point that drifting is a career. Right now, it's not really a career.
Well, and everybody, everybody compares it to NASCAR or to, Formula One or Indy, but you got to think, I mean, drifting's only, 15 years old in this country?
Yeah, FD itself, this is 21 years. I think last year it was 20 years.
Where NASCAR is 80 years old?
Yeah, we're in the early stages of growing.
Yeah, yeah.
20 years from now might be a different story.
Yeah, that's right.
We might be on the ESPNs and all of that. So, yeah, being a mechanic though to me it was a lot of fun, but a lot of stress. And the most stressful part really wasn't even about fixing the car.
Yeah.
It was like the timing. Like, so there's another mechanic. We had two mechanics.
Yeah.
But we're responsible for changing the tires and stuff. And like the timing. So like during practice, it's there's like an hour window usually.
Oh,
in
so
FD
it's
practice.
tight.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's a little longer. I have to look at the schedule. Either way, it's not long when you've got 40 plus drivers out there trying to get laps.
Yes.
And a place like Atlanta, everybody's going off in the kiddie litter.
Yeah.
They got to clean the track. Got to bring the little blower out. It takes time.
And they take their time, don't they?
Yeah. So everybody is in a rush.
Yeah.
To get back in line to get that practice time.
Yeah.
That means when you're out of tires and he backs that thing up in the hot pit, you have to be on it. Get that jack. Like, one guy's doing the tire. If people are mixed up or somebody doesn't know where the jack's at or where's the gun, like, and the driver's just sitting there waiting,
getting hot,
they're gonna get mad because they're like, hey,
come
put me on the track. What are you doing?
Go, move it.
We gotta go.
Yeah.
Like I remember at Atlanta, and that was my first, the first event. Mm-hmm. And I remember we got up to the line, and they do the cross like this. Practice is over.
Oh.
We were the ones right there. Oh. And it's like if we had our game down just a little bit more, we would have got one more practice lap in. And so that kind of stuff, and then of course the car breaks, you're running around trying to fix it and all that. Which, lucky for us, we didn't really break a lot of stuff last year. I think we had manifold broke, axle.
Did you blow the welds on the manifold? Is that what you did?
It actually cracked where the flex pipe meets.
Oh yeah, okay.
So yeah, that was easy though. We pulled that down, and the other mechanic welded that right up. And we stuck it back on.
A little Fast and Furious moment there.
Yeah. So overall, it's fun, but there's definitely some rules in FD. There's a level of professionalism that Formula Drift expects out of you.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got a little spicy story to tell you.
I feel a story coming on. Let's hear this, baby.
Yeah, this is going to be lucky for you guys. This has not been public until now.
Oh, nice. Breaking news. I love it. Breaking news. You heard it here first.
Yeah, so last year at Formula Drift St. Louis, me and the other mechanic, so we were done with qualifying and all that. So we're watching the pros practice or whatever they're doing. But it's really hot in St. Louis. And I mean like 105 degrees hot.
Yeah.
Well, so we've got hard cars, so you can get around about anywhere. Well, me and the other mechanic go up. We got like our cooler of beer, and we go up to the top of the it's a spotter stand, but it's a great viewing spot, not just for spotters. Anybody, but you have to have a hard card to get up there.
Okay.
So we went up there to watch the drifting. And it's so hot. And we saw another guy had his shirt off. Uh-oh. So and me and other mechanic, Jared McGuire, shout out Jared. Me and him were like best buds. So funny, like me. We keep in close contact now. He also drifts too.
Nice. Nice.
But yeah, so he's, we're like, screw this. We take our shirts off. It's hot.
Yeah.
Well, if anybody knows Formula Drift in the inner workings, there's a guy named Andy.
Okay.
You stay away from Andy.
You stay away from
Do
Andy.
not. Yeah, and Andy will. He will. If you're doing something wrong, he's gonna let you know, and you're gonna be in trouble. So he's kind of like the FD police. Okay. I say that, but he's one of the higher ups in FD.
Yeah.
And he rides around and keeps everybody in line and all the things.
Everybody sees him coming and runs and
that's
hides
right. Basically.
Make sure we're busy while he's walking by. I get it. Okay.
Yeah. Everybody that's in FD, they know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, so we're up there just hanging out, and Andy comes up and he's like, "What are you assholes doing?" We're like, "Whoa!" Like, what? And he's like, "Where's your shirt?" He's like, "You look a bunch of assholes up here."
Nice.
I'm like, "Whoa, hold on. Okay, it's right over there. We didn't know." He was like, "We got drones flying around. This is being live streamed, and you guys up here look like assholes with your shirts off."
Wow.
We're like, all right. But that's just how he is. It's fine.
That's
We're
three,
like,
homeboy. That's enough.
all right. So we go back we put our shirts on.
Mm-hmm.
And that other guy, he was gone. So
Nice.
it was just
So he left
me
you all
and Jared.
hanging
It was
up
me
there,
and Jared.
Awesome.
And we're like, all right, it's fine, right? So we can put our shirts on. Well, this is all the way at the top. There's an elevator.
Mm-hmm.
So he walks through the door, but he's waiting on the elevator. Well, these guys on this bench over here, they don't know that.
Yeah.
They think he's gone.
Oh.
They start just complaining about his attitude.
Okay.
And he could hear it.
Oh, good.
Well, he comes right back out there. And he's like, "Let me see your hard card right now." We're like, "Oh, shit."
Yeah. Oops.
He took a picture of mine and Jarrett's hard card. He was like, "You guys are going to be put on probation, blah, 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 blah." Like, he just went off. We were like, all right. Like, well, we thought, well, nah, he's not going to do nothing. 15 minutes later. 15 minutes later. That's just enough time for him to get off the elevator and go wherever he needs to go to write this email.
Oh, gosh.
And we got an official probation letter from Formula Drift that, we were in violation of the dress code, I guess.
Code of conduct.
Code of conduct. So then he had, got sent out to Alex and, the whole team. So I'm so like, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
It all ended up being all right, but it was definitely, it was a moment. And so I'm a little disappointed too.
Yeah.
The reason why is because Andy told us, and he told Alex, you guys are going on the website. So on Formula Drift, down at the bottom, there is like penalties. If you click on that, it tells everybody like who's on probation.
Yeah.
Well, at the time last year in New Jersey, that's when Chelsea DeNofa had his pack your shit in the trailer moment, right?
Yeah.
So he was on probation, and his name was up there.
Yeah.
So me and Jared were hitting refresh on that every day. Every day. I'm like, I'm waiting for my name to be on the Formula Drift website.
Right next to Chelsea.
Next to Chelsea DeNofa on probation. And we waited, and it never happened.
Never came.
It never happened.
Put it up.
Nope. And this year, so I went to Road Atlanta this year. I was so tempted to print that letter off.
Yeah.
And walk around and find Andy and ask him if he would sign it.
Would you autograph this for me? That'd be awesome.
But I didn't do it because I don't want to poke the bear, and at the same time, like I don't know when I'm going to get back in the FD. Like that could happen. And I don't want to. Maybe he would think it's funny. Maybe he doesn't.
Yeah.
Either way, and if you're watching this, Andy, it would be funny.
Yeah, it would be funny.
But either way,
it would be funny.
I decided not to do that. I probably should have, but yeah. So if you're in FD, you can't be doing stuff like that.
So if anybody out there knows Andy needs to call us because Andy needs to come on the show and do his rebuttal so that we understand his side of the story. I love that. That's fantastic. So Andy is the man. Andy walks up.
He's not going to come on the show. I don't even think he went on the official Formula Drift podcast.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he doesn't do that kind of stuff. So,
well,
yeah.
We're calling you out, Andy. We're calling you out. This needs to be your first. This one's small enough nobody watches it anyway. So go ahead and you're safe to come on this one. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious, man! What a story! Oh my gosh.
We only had one more round to go, Utah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that stressful.
Yeah.
I was like, as long as I don't do anything out of line, which I normally don't.
Yeah. I mean,
it was just kind of a weird thing. The other part about that too. After we were up on the roof, we had put our shirts back on. Andy had left. This whole deal's went down. Probably about 20 minutes later, so Ryan Turek comes up on the roof.
Yeah.
He's got a driver's suit on, but the first thing he does is strip halfway down.
You're right.
So when he's up there, me and Jared are just like,
dude.
I mean, I know he's the pro, but like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, we just got rode up for that shit, And then, so then somebody goes over there and kind of nudges him and says something to him. He puts his suit back on, and then 5 minutes later, Andy comes up there.
Dang. Dang.
I'm like, that's the difference.
Yep.
I'm the little FD ProSpec mechanic, and that's Ryan Turek. That's the difference right there.
Nobody told you anybody was coming. Nobody said anything to you, but Ryan, we're going to make sure he knows.
Yep.
Oh, my gosh. That's hilarious. Golly. I can't imagine. Why did it have to be me?
I know, but just looked at it and learned from it.
That's right.
And and I get it. It's a level of professionalism they're trying to achieve. I guess we didn't think about the fact we'd be on a live stream.
True that.
I'm just hot.
Yeah, it's just hot. That's right. I don't have to worry about that. I don't exactly have the physique to be walking around with no T-shirt, so I wouldn't necessarily have to worry about getting in trouble for that.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't have gotten in trouble if those other guys hadn't said nothing. There was more of a point to be made.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
It wasn't like that.
He come up there, say what he needed to say. He was going to let us go.
Yeah,
it's when people, he wanted to make a point.
Well, it sucks that them other guys didn't get anything probably, and they got you guys even deeper in trouble.
Yeah, I don't even know if they had. I mean, they had hardcores of some sort, but I don't know if they were with the.
But he thought you guys were the one that were talking shit when he turned around.
Probably.
That's what it was.
Probably, yeah. I don't know that for sure, but I know that, he comes so fast to get that badge and take that picture. But, it is what it is. You learn from it and move on.
Off to the principal's office.
Shirts stay on in FD.
Yes, shirts stay on in FD. You need to, do you still have that piece of paper? Like, you could scan it and make a shirt out of it?
I could, yeah. It was an email. I still got it in my email.
Yeah, print that baby out and put that on a T-shirt, and that way you've always got your shirt on.
That's right.
Got your letter with you. There'll be no danger of getting in trouble. Maybe you could sign the T-shirt. That'd be the best.
Yeah, that'd be even better.
Golly, what a mess. I tell you what, you think about that and you think about, like you said earlier, they're wanting to be the Formula One of drifting in this country. They're wanting to be. So I get it. When you go to a NASCAR hot pits, you don't see anything like that.
Right, yeah.
The drivers don't even take their suits down. Like, they barely even unzip them, when it's 100 and something degrees.
They have to be hot.
Zipped up, and it's just part of it.
Yep.
You got too many corporate sponsors looking at you to be able to do anything out of the ordinary.
Yeah, and it's like that all in FD. Anything that you're doing, they want you to be straight laced and be on your game, be on your program, be where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Don't even just parking stuff in the wrong places. You can't be doing none of that. They will come tell you, hey, you got to move this. This is in the way.
Wow.
We have a production going on here.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
Quite a bit different than the normal little just cat around fun little drift event that we do.
Yeah. And I would say in FD,
the real deal.
It's almost like everyone has characters. It's interesting. So when we go to drift events, everybody's out there just having fun.
Oh,
but in Formula Drift, everyone kind of has their spot in their character. Like, who are they? If you think about it, even the pro drivers, they kind of always have this kind of persona assigned to them.
Yeah.
Well, not assigned to them, but who they are telling FD that they are.
Yeah.
That is the message to the audience.
Yeah.
And that's part of the show, right?
Sure.
So that's also kind of Andy's part. That Andy's that guy who comes around.
Yeah. He's the heavy.
That's part of the whole show, is that he's going to come tell you what you shouldn't be doing. You're going to know that. But
that. He's the heavy. He's the one that's going to make sure that it's done and everybody's going by the rules.
Yeah, but
if you're going to be that show, you got to have that guy.
Got to have it, and you got to have all the different pieces they have to make that show work. If you look at the announcers, Jared, he's awesome and funny, and you got to have that too, right? And then
absolutely.
You got to have the other guy who's a little bit maybe more serious that brings down let's look at what they said.
Yeah.
This part, you got to all of that wraps in to the whole show that you watch.
Yeah.
you know. So.
And that's the way it is when you watch any kind of a sporting event. You got the guy that calls it, and then you got the color guy sitting beside him that either feeds him information or elaborates on something that he said. So they make a great team. I like listening to the way they do things.
Absolutely.
I've got a funny little story about him that we might get into in the next segment here. Let's take another break. This has been great. Sorry, Andy. Like, don't be mad at us. It's all cool. If you don't want to come, it's good. We love you anyway. But we're going to take another little break. Be sure and hit that Instagram, Spotify, golly, TikTok, YouTube. Like us, follow us, subscribe to us, all that good stuff. Get Slydewayz with Barry Clapp. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Finch with Finch Performance, and we're just going to take a quick little peek around the shop here to see some of the different things that we work on around here. So first up, we've got some chassis in production. We've got a small backlog right now, but we're knocking out some 67 to 72 C10 stuff. We've got a really cool 67 crew cab Chevy here, C10. We've made a custom one-off Apex Predator chassis with long arm suspension all the way around. This thing's going to be pretty badass. 56 F100 with a Coyote 10-speed. Just all we got left here is really getting the supercharger installed, finishing up the wiring and a little bit of the fuel system, get it fired off. And then, of course, we're back on our Ferrari 308 custom project here with the LT5 engine and a Graziano 6-speed transaxle. So this thing is going to be full kill, badass. And that's just some of the things that we do here. So we don't just build trucks. We build a lot of everything. Main thing is we have a good time, because that's what it's about.
If you guys are interested in getting a vehicle wrap done, or if you guys just need a banner made for your office or something cool like that, a mural on your walls, give Graphic Effects a call. 615-896-4301. They're in Middle Tennessee. They're the best in the business of what they do. If you need vinyl, you need stickers, you need wraps, give these guys a shout. Graphic Effects, 896-4301, 615.
All right, guys, welcome back. Segment 4. Man, Chad Campbell's laying it down, man. We're having a good time. We're talking about a lot of fun stuff. We've talked a little bit of drifting, a little high speed, low speed. We've talked a little bit of mechanicking. We talked a little bit about getting in trouble. I'm having a blast, man. I hope you are.
Absolutely.
This has been a lot of fun. I'm really glad you're in town and was able to come out and check this out. I got to confess, when Tia said, "Hey, how about having Chad Campbell?" I was like, "Who?
Who's that guy?"
I don't know Chad Campbell. Yeah, tell him, come on. Why not? We're equal opportunity to make fool of yourself here on this show. So I said, yeah, come on. So how did you and Tia meet? How did you know who Tia, or how did she know who you were?
So
Is that just a social media thing?
Yeah, social media thing.
She's cool as a cucumber. You know what?
Yeah, so she was commented. So, I had posted that I was flying in to Nashville, and she had posted something, and I had clicked, and I saw that she was in Nashville too. So then I reached out, and I was like, hey, like, I see you're in Nashville. I definitely want to meet up or something, and like, let's talk about drifting. And I want to figure out the scene around here. And then that's when she told me about this and all that.
Nice.
It's like, this the perfect way to really learn about the scene in Tennessee. Especially like we might be coming back next summer. So
cool.
Maybe logistic can work even better, and I can drift a whole bunch next summer out here or something. Who knows?
Dude, this little market is pretty saturated. Like, we've got a lot of places within 2 hours of us. There's like 5.
Okay.
There's 5 different scenes within 2 hours of us.
That's awesome.
So we basically do the super speedway. We do Beach Bend every once in a while, which is right up in Bowling Green.
Okay.
I just got a guy set up in Bowling Green with the track, Scotty D.
Okay.
He's doing a every other Tuesday night test session at Bowling Green.
Oh, that's awesome.
Now, so that some beginners can get in there and really start working.
Or if you just did something to your car, you need to
test
That's great.
it. Absolutely. And Scotty's real cool because he's been to a lot of drift events. He's a California boy. Mm-hmm. He's seen a bunch of different tracks. So every week he sets a course up different. And he's got it on like I guess a set of Corsa or something like that.
Yeah.
So he'll draw it up on and drive it on a set of Corsa and then post it for everybody to see.
Oh, that's
cool.
Cool.
It's pretty sweet. You know?
That's nice.
He's a pretty cool cat. And shout out to Scotty. He does a lot of cool parts. We're fixing to build a Mustang with a lot of his parts. So that was that turd we backed out here before we started this show, but we'll get to that later. But then you've got the Clarksville Drift guys.
Okay. Yeah.
They're not quite an hour, up the road from us, and they've got it's a pretty small area, so it's real good for beginners. Okay. Or if you just like getting rowdy and left foot braking and trains right on top of each other, it's basically a controlled burnout. It's not high speed or anything like that, but it's a downhill entry into a big figure 8 and then back up the hill.
Okay.
And it's fun. I mean, it's cool.
Yeah.
I've been up there a couple times. I think they're doing they're actually doing a competition next Sunday after our thing on Saturday.
Okay.
So you might want to go up there and check that out.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get around to as many as I can. I want to, do some meet and greet kind of stuff, right? So just meet as many people as I can.
And Clarksville Drift's a big party. They like to get rowdy up there and have a good time. It's pretty fun. It's a good time. And then like an hour and a half or so down toward Alabama, there's this new Driven Luck circuit. That's these old boys that their granddaddy had a field, and they went out there with an asphalt truck and paved a road course in it. And it's the craziest thing, I mean, it's narrow, and it's 5 or 6 turns. It's not a lot, but man, it's really popular. Everybody seems to love it.
Well, it's fresh pavement. I'm sure it's good on tires.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd have to be. So I've got to get down there and come play with them guys. I hadn't got to go yet. And then, of course, we're not that far from Mid Pond.
Yep. I've heard a lot about that track.
Mid Pond is like known around the world, I guess.
It is. It's wild.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, I've heard it so many times. And everybody's like, you have to go drive Mid Pond. You have to. And I'm like, well, one day, I definitely will.
And it's fun. I've been down there a couple times with the car, and it's a good time. It's rowdy. It's a hot lap track.
Okay.
Like it literally, it's small. It's the only thing. Mr. Ken is actually right now had bought the land beside it and is clearing the land to expand it. So we're excited to see what happens at Mid Pond in the future, because he's been already posting videos about him clearing the trees, and he's got to make a bigger parking area first, and then he's going to expand the track, because right now you can't get but about 30 trailers in there.
Okay.
So it's really small.
Yeah.
And but they don't even run a start line. So like when you pull up to where you enter the track at Mid Pond, you can see the whole track.
Okay.
And I think it's a 5 or 6 car rule. If there's 5 cars on the track, you got to sit there until one of them comes off.
But
it comes off right there beside you. So when you see him go off,
that's when you go on.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you hot lap 3 or 4 laps until your car gets real hot, and then you pull off and the next guy comes. And it's a blast. It's basically big go-kart track.
Okay.
You know, you gotta be a driver to be able to link the whole thing.
Okay.
Because there's a couple of straightaways that you have to manji. But other than the straightaway, it flows really well.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. You can find it on a Seto. There's a couple of guys that have put it on there. I've driven it on a Seto, but they call it mid pond because there's a big old duck pond in the middle of it.
Okay.
And you, depending on which way you're going, you
could go into the
could
pond?
go into the water
Oh,
if
man.
you were
I'm not trying to go fishing with my Corvette,
I
man.
know. If you weren't paying attention real good, you could probably end up wet.
Okay.
But Nashville's got a good drift scene, man. It's really cool. It's, you know, I didn't necessarily completely start it. There was some guys around here. I guess the what they call themselves, Team Rowdy guys back in the day, were already doing some private events when I first started to think about hosting a drift event here back in 2009. But since then, you know, all the way until 4 or 5 years ago, it was just us running the Tennessee drift stuff.
Okay.
And then we decided to make a little change. We were going out of state every once in a while, so that's when the Slide Factory thing was born. And then Louis over in East Tennessee has East 10 Drift.
Yeah, I'm familiar with East 10. Yeah.
Because he's got the Pro-Am thing going.
Yep. That's my next step.
Yeah.
I wanted to do it next year,
Yep.
but I don't know. Well, you know, financially, that's a
Yep.
big step.
That's close to you, too, being in Bristol, right?
Yeah, I mean, I probably 5 hours.
That's not too bad.
Not too bad.
It's about what
4
I am from
hours.
here.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
The biggest thing would be tires.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think they have to run GT radials.
Yep.
I get 2 laps on GT radials.
Yep.
You know, and I don't even have Pro-Am power. I mean, I wouldn't say I don't have Pro-Am power. Some of the guys in Pro-Am have a lot more power. I'm running like 435 to the wheels.
Oh, well, yeah.
So I've got enough, but I'm getting 2 laps out of GT radials.
Yeah.
And, that means my tire bill skyrockets.
Yep. Yep.
So we're going to have to figure that out before I can go to Pro-Am, you know.
There's 3 or 4 guys from here that go to the Bristol ones. Wesley goes, and I think Derek Carter was wanting to go. Derek Carter's the one that's got the real crazy S14 that's pink and blue and purple. Got the 80s, but it's just all sporadic. You know,
Yeah.
There's no pattern to it. It's a really wild looking car. He did. He went all the way to that LS Fest, Texas.
Okay.
He went out there and did Texas Motor Speedway. It looked like a barrel of monkeys. Looked like a good time. But yeah, so anytime you're in town, man, you need to try to drag that car over here.
I definitely will.
And come and play, because we've got a lot of options here in Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky. A lot of good places to do it.
Yeah, I want to try some new tracks too. So in Carolina, we have a lot, but I've drifted most of them.
I've got the thing for you. I don't know why I didn't think of this.
It's an aha moment.
Aha! I have a 350Z.
Okay.
That we use as a rental car with the Slide Factory stuff on it. I will drag that to the Super Speedway next Saturday.
Okay.
And you are more than welcome to take some laps.
Oh yeah.
It's bone stock with a what angle kit's on that thing? I think it's got a GK Tech, whatever.
Okay.
Have you
Do
say
a lot
that.
of clutch kicking.
Yeah, well, it's not that
Handbrake?
bad because
Yeah.
it's stiff as a board in the back, you know, like that. Like it's hard as a rock back there, but it'll link the course.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Taylor Alexander, little girl that drives in here, she rented it last event we had, and she probably put 40 laps on it. I mean,
Wow.
ran all day long on it.
That's one fun thing about those kind of cars.
Yeah.
Is like the tires and stuff. It's
Yeah.
so easy on it. And you
Yeah,
just
it
get to
ain't
go out there and
got
have
the
some
power
fun.
to smoke, you know, it don't do the smoke show. So, you know, I think she drove all day on one set of tires. She might have changed tires one time.
Wow.
I know she made 40 laps.
That's awesome.
So
That makes me want to build a seat time car.
I'm telling you, dude, like that little car is pretty cool. It'll fit you good. We'll drag that out there and you can come take some laps with us. I'd love to have you.
Oh man, that'd be awesome.
I think that'd be fun. You're here in town, shoot, you don't have it. We'll just make it happen.
Heck yeah.
So that's next. When is that? That's July the 6th at the Nashville Super Speedway. That's our next event that we've got coming up. After that, the next thing we've got is in the first Saturday in August. I think it's
Okay.
August the 3rd. Does that sound right? We're doing the first ever Music City Muscle Car Challenge.
All right.
And we're gonna do kind of a big car show. If you've got a cool looking old car, new car, truck, bike, whatever, we're gonna do a cool looking car show in the paddock. we're going to do something different. We're going to autocross on one end of the road course and drift on the other end of the road course. So we'll have kind of both things going at one time, have some cool vendors. We've got a really good RC drift scene here in Nashville.
Okay.
And so when we do our car shows and stuff, we set up an RC drift course in the infield garage area. And anybody's welcome to bring a car and come and slide around, and there'll be 20 of them little dudes doing trains around there.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
It's
I got to get me
fun.
one of these little things,
Dude,
man.
it's a blast. It's a lot of fun. It's really cool. So we'll just set that up. We'll drag the old 350Z out there and put a fresh set of rubbers on it and turn you loose.
Man, that'd be a lot of fun. I haven't drifted something like that in a long time.
I took it to the Clarksville scene, and it did great.
Okay.
It's just a bulletproof little car, man.
Yeah.
It'll do fine at the super speedway.
Probably take me back to my 240 days. Where
Yeah.
I had a SR 240, but it was stock. That's what
Yeah.
got me into drifting.
Yeah.
Man, it was just, it's pretty simple. Like, I didn't even have a handbrake other than the stock one. For the longest time. No, in that car, I never put a proper handbrake in it.
How about that?
Just, I would duct tape the button
Oh,
closed.
yeah. Take it shut. When
Yeah,
when
but I rarely used it, and I think that was actually a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I had to learn fainting and clutch kicking and
4-wheel slides to slow the car down. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that stuff's fun though. I think when you get in a higher power car, it's fun, but if you rely too much on your handbrake, those things, you lose a little bit of that that edge.
I feel that. I used to say, and I think your Circle of Drift guy, he went down the same road too, about how it's better to learn in a low horsepower car. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people flamed him for that, but I agree with him. I think if you learn in a lower horsepower car, you learn how to drift, you learn about momentum, you learn about inertia, you learn about that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And it makes you a better driver, and then you add the power to that. If you start out in a high horsepower car, you kind of learn some bad habits.
Yep, handbrake's one of them. And I'm guilty for when I got back into drifting for using the handbrake too much. Because when I got back into drifting, I got the Corvette. Mm-hmm. A lot of power.
Yeah.
That is a safety net right there.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you, I learned real fast. Started drifting, Catch My Drift this year, the Money Series.
Oh, yeah.
Tandeming with other cars that are high power. Mm-hmm. Use that handbrake, you get left.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you can. You got a momentum shit. Like, that transition, if you transition, you keep pulling the e-brake, they're gonna walk away from you. Yeah. For faster cars. A slower car, you can kind of do what you need.
Sure.
Left foot brake, e-brake, whatever you need to do. But I learned real fast. Like, if I want to keep up with, like, Jonathan there and Joe Love,
they're not
piles of other drivers that have that kind of horsepower and that kind of momentum.
Yeah.
You are not using handbrake.
They're not touching it, so you better not.
Yeah, you have to when you transition, you need to have it set and you need to be in it. If you're gonna spin out, then like, so be it. You gotta learn how to drive like that.
Yeah.
Not spin out. But if you pull that handbrake, the moment
Bye.
that you get back on the throttle, they're already gone. It's too late, and you can't catch up. You ain't catching up.
No.
It's not gonna happen.
Once they're gone, they're gone. Yeah.
So it's a full send kind of thing. But but that handbrake can be a bad habit.
Yeah.
Especially chasing. Chasing, you need to be on the left foot brake.
Yeah.
There's times when you use the handbrake. But to me, I was practicing at the last event chasing slower cars, driving the entire course with just my gas and my left foot brake. Mm-hmm. And I would, every transition, everything, I never touched the e-brake.
Wow.
Maybe entry, there, and that's it.
Yeah, the very first.
And I'll sit there and try to mimic what they're doing and transition the car, just kind of tapping that left foot brake through the entire course.
I need to learn to be better at that. That's my biggest weakness is I'm not a great left foot braker.
Yeah,
I don't use a ton of e-brake, but I don't left foot brake enough. I tend to just let the momentum of the car go where it wants to go. So if I'm chasing a slower car, I have a hard time.
Yeah, so you get choked up, and that's what happened to me last year. I lost several battles last year, and earlier this year too, where I'm chasing a slower car, and when I'm coming up on them, I would choke up and straighten out. Where my lead was great, my chase, I was great until that one spot.
Yeah.
And so I really started focusing on my left foot brake because that's what saves you in that moment. If you have a lot of momentum coming up and you're already ready for that brake and you just slow the car down a little bit, you're going to slide right in that pocket.
Yeah, right up against
You're not going to like run over top of them, none of that. But you feel that. Like I was feeling that, I was about to run into them. And I'm like, what do I do And so, like, you go to do something, it's too late, and the car straightens up.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like you're choked up because they're going so slow.
Yeah.
So I just went out and just practiced it with slower cars. You know, not knocking on BMWs, but like the stock ones, stock 350s.
Sure.
And I would just go chase them. And the moment we enter, I would literally I would drive the entire course that way. And what you will learn is, like, it's easier to transition than you think. Because I was thinking, I'm going to, like, the car's going to do weird stuff.
Yeah, get snappy on you or
It's
something.
actually, to me, it was really controllable. I was able to really control the car and slow it down when I needed to and then let off of it, like, to gain, if I didn't get right back on them.
Right. Now, do you have, like, a brake bias?
Nope, and that's the hardest part. Because, I've got it. My car's a Z06 too, so it's got the Z06 brakes and stuff. So it is very light.
Yeah.
Very light.
That's the thing. When I've tried it, I've, like, stopped the dang car because the brakes are so good on it. I hit them too hard.
Yeah. So I saw some video from my last event where I actually, drifting a right-hand turn and all the weight's on the left, I actually drug my right front tire for the first time.
Oh, nice.
But I didn't even know I did that.
Nice.
The car was it's set up that way.
Yeah.
But that's me. It's dragging that tire with me barely touching that brake.
It. Yeah.
I would say probably either bias or getting rid of the booster or something like that would help.
Yeah.
So that, you can put a little more pressure on it without really.
Yeah. That's probably is that what the pro guys do? Like, they don't run a booster. They'll run manual disc brakes.
Most of them, I think,
around.
run like manual brakes
and
or
then
something.
they'll run a bias valve where they can set it to where they want it.
Yeah, because I think power brakes, I mean, maybe some of them do. The higher pros, maybe. I don't know what, like, RTR and them do.
Yeah.
They have insane setups and horsepower, but
no kidding.
I would think maybe power brakes, at least our Pro-Am level, might be a bit much.
Yeah.
Because you can't, if you stomp on them, my car spins out.
Yeah. I mean, you just barely touch it and it'll lock the front wheels up.
Yeah. So.
But you see the videos where the foot brake videos where they've got the camera down there where you can see what they're doing, and they're putting a lot of pressure on that pedal.
Yeah, I think that's mostly manual. It's
That
got
have
to
to
be.
be.
Or biased. It has to be, because when I'm doing it, I'm literally, like, just laying my foot on it.
I was going to say.
And I'm barely giving it any pressure.
Yeah.
And I feel the car kind of doing that.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm like, I'll look like crap. But if you go back and look at the video, you can't even see it.
Oh,
you
nice.
feel it in the car, but you don't see it on the video. So I was like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Just, the fact that I feel the car doing that it's not a big deal. So
I need to learn how to do it better. I've tried it a little here and there, but I end up doing it too much because I'm not good at it yet. I got to learn how to do it.
that's one of those, you have to have that breakthrough moment.
Yep.
And I had that at the last event.
Nice.
Because I barely ever used left foot brake until I kept getting in line with slower cars.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm getting tired of getting choked up. So I was like, I know what I need to do.
Yeah.
And so I kept doing it. And I was like,
Yeah.
getting comfortable. I was like, now I'm comfortable doing that,
I get that, and that's been that's just me as a driver because I don't want to go slow. I want to go fast.
Oh, I know.
So
I know that's right.
That's why I haven't done that. I haven't driven behind the slower cars to learn it. That's what I need to do, isn't it?
Yeah, it'll that, or you're gonna get choked up, or you're gonna just kind of let them drive away from you, because that'll happen too.
Well, I end up rotating the car and going way offline on the inside. They're way out here where they're supposed to be, and I'm way in here because I don't want to run over them because I don't want to hit the brakes. Isn't that silly? That's about right though.
Yeah, and you can also use the left foot brake to adjust your line. Do that every now and then.
Yeah.
So, like, if my line is too shallow. If you reach over there and barely tap the left foot brake, it'll drag your car out to the line.
Okay. Like
So-
it'll back a car up.
Yeah. So say you initiate it, or you transition slightly too early, and you're not going to fill your zone.
Oh, yeah.
If you reach over there and kind of just barely tap the left foot brake,
Okay.
it throws the car back into the zone.
Same as what the e-brake would do, but not as drastic, I
Well,
guess.
the problem-
quicker to recover from.
Well, yeah, and it's less noticeable.
Because you're in the throttle and you're just left footing instead of having to let out and e-brake and then get back in.
Looks way better.
I bet.
More tire smoke. The car is kind of floating out there.
Yeah, you're not letting off.
Instead of dragging the car out there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay. So you're still under throttle. You're not having to let off an e-brake.
Yeah, it looks way
That
better.
makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Man, got into a little technique on that little segment there. See, I'll tell you when I'm good and when I'm not good. I can't left foot brake to save my life. All right, guys, so that's 4. We got one more to go. We're going to take one more little short break. Be sure and go out there and hit YouTube, Spotify, TikTok. Be sure and like us, follow us, subscribe to us. We need to hit the Bougie Redneck, too, man. Like, what's your social media? Let's tell everybody that real fast before we go to break.
Yeah, so it's
Bougie Redneck. I love it.
BougieRedneck.shop.
.shop.
You
Go out
can-
there and check out his merch.
Yep, you can find all the Bougie Redneck stuff as well as my Campbell 33 racing stuff. It's all on the site.
Fantastic.
So, yep.
Go out there and check that out before you get out of here. We'll be right back. Get Slydewayz with Barry Clapp.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Finch with Finch Performance, and we're just going to take a quick little peek around the shop here to see some of the different things that we work on around here. So first up, we've got some chassis in production. We've got a small backlog right now, but we're knocking out some 67 to 72 C10 stuff. We've got a really cool 67 crew cab Chevy here, C10. We've made a custom one-off Apex Predator chassis with long arm suspension all the way around. This thing's going to be pretty badass. 56 F100 with the Coyote 10-speed. Just all we got left here is really getting the supercharger installed, finishing up the wiring and a little bit of the fuel system, get it fired off. And then, of course, we're back on our Ferrari 308 custom project here with the LT5 engine and a Graziano 6-speed transaxle. So this thing is going to be full kill, badass. And that's just some of the things that we do here. So we don't just build trucks. We build a lot of everything. Main thing is we have a good time because that's what it's about.
If you guys are interested in getting a vehicle wrap done, or if you guys just need a banner made for your office or something cool like that, a mural on your walls, give Graphic Effects a call. 615-896-4301. They're in Middle Tennessee. They're the best in the business of what they do. If you need vinyl, you need stickers, you need wraps, give these guys a shout. Graphic Effects, 896-4301, 615.
All right, we're back. Fifth and final segment. Man, we've talked about a little bit of everything. This has been a great night. Man,
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're in town and you're able to
Me
come
too.
hang out with us. It's great to meet you. When Tia said you need to have this guy on the show, I'm like, all right, whatever. I don't know this dude, but this will be cool. So it's been really fun.
Yeah.
You're a pretty cool cat.
Appreciate you having me out here.
Fellow
you know?
C5 guy.
That's right, man. We gotta support, right? It's
That's
only
right.
a handful of us out there.
That's right, man alive. Yeah, everybody's gone to the C6. What's the big deal? Like, what's the difference? I don't see a big difference between the two other than just a C6 maybe a little bit prettier car.
Yeah, I think that's it. But actually, was I in St. Louis last year, FD, and it was after the race, and I'm out in the parking lot, and Matt Field's over there, next to his car, and so I walk up to him and start talking to him. He knew I was Alex was pit and all pit crew and all that anyway. So we get to chatting about Corvettes, and I asked him. I said, "Look, I know everybody's a C6." He said, "I'm like, is there a big difference?" Yeah. He said, "No, man." He said, "Whatever you can get in the drift, C5 versus C6." He was like, "It is little to no difference."
Yeah, it's almost
in the chassis. I think the C5's a little longer and wider. I believe
the torque tube's longer. I think just barely.
It is negligible. Yeah, it's like you just get whatever you can get. So if the pro is going to tell me it don't matter, it don't matter.
Yeah, absolutely. So I had a coupe. I had a regular coupe, had a cage in it, all that good stuff, and was out playing around with it, doing videos with it, that kind of thing. And a guy over in East Tennessee that was getting ready to run Louis Pro-Am called me up and said, "Hey, my Pro-Am car is down. I need a car." And I'm like, "Well, this one could be bought." And he was like, "What do you want for it? Price it." And he said, "Okay, I'll take it." And I didn't even mean to sell it. It just all of a sudden happened. And so I loaded the thing on a trailer and drove it to the Tri-Cities, and he handed me cash money.
Man, money talks.
I'll build me another one,
That's right.
Whatever. So, but I love the fixed roof. I love the Z06.
Me too.
So if I couldn't have a C6, I had to have a fixed roof, and so we found one, and I love this little car. I got to cage it, though. Yours is caged and everything ready to rock and roll.
Love it.
You got it, up there in the roof, you got enough room to function.
Everything. Oh, man, it's the Cage Kits kit.
Okay.
It is nice. I went ahead and got the full FD spec NASCAR style.
Yeah, I saw your top door bars out
They
at
do.
an angle.
It's so much room. Now, you do have to get rid of your windows and everything.
Sure.
There's not enough room for that.
Right.
Which is race car, so.
Yeah. Mine's a rattle trap anyway, so I need to get rid of them anyway.
I love the kit. It's great. Like, it fit together really well, and shout out to J-Speed Tuning. They installed it. It's my sponsor, does all my tuning, but he also welded my roll cage in. So shout out J-Speed, JD.
Excellent.
It is, and there's so much room in it. So he's got a kit that he put in his C5 as well. Mm-hmm. He loves it. I think the doors are a little different. I think he was able to retain his windows. They make 3 different kits.
I got you.
I think one of them, the bars kind of go straight up. Then one, they do an X or something. Some of them go straight up, and then you got the full. There's several different kits based on how much of your interior you want to keep, basically.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I love having the cage, though. It changed the attitude of the car.
Stiffened it up.
Oh, it was. I did that in the coilovers at the same time. So before that, so last season,
it was totally different.
Last season, I competed on stock suspension.
Wow.
But, I'll tell anybody, you grab you a Corvette and throw you an angle kit and a handbrake in it, you don't necessarily need the handbrake.
Yeah.
But it does help.
Sure.
And you can go compete.
Yeah.
I would go out, and I did well in qualifying. I was still kind of learning how to tandem a little bit. Mm-hmm. Back in my early years, drifting, we didn't tandem because nobody knew that you could tandem. So I drifted from 05 to 2010.
Oh, wow. Just doing single runs.
Single runs. We did competition single runs. That's how.
Oh, really?
It's called Streetwise Drift back then.
I've heard of Streetwise, yeah.
Yeah, so, but that's what it was, because nobody knew. They were like, you need to have a cage if you're going to tandem. Nobody knew the safety aspect, how far we could push cars. So I did a few competitions back then. Everything was single car. I didn't do my first tandem until I got in the C5 last year. Well, first year. So this is my 3rd year in the C5.
Isn't that funny?
3 years ago was the first time I did a tandem ever.
And been drifting since 2005.
Yeah, well, that was a big break. So 2010, I had to sell the car. I had lost my job, and I needed to focus on my career.
Sure.
I had to course correct. Spent 10 years doing that. I still had cars. I still built cars. Still did that kind of stuff. But course corrected, got my shit together.
Yeah.
And then now I'm able to buy a nice C5 and do it properly, I guess you could say. Yeah. But you can take a C5 and with stock suspension and go compete at a grassroots level. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. A lot of people say you got to have the coilovers first. You don't. You just don't.
Yeah.
They help.
Yeah.
But when I put the coilovers in the cage in, that's when it just changed the car.
Yeah.
That, and I added FDF lower control arms because I was running just the mini kit. Mm-hmm. and now I'm running the lower control arms with the mini kit. So now I've got like almost probably 70 degrees of angle.
Does that make it the Mega?
It doesn't, no. So the Mega includes the knuckle and the upper.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm still running a stock knuckle with the mini and the lower.
Gotcha.
But that's really all you need to get a massive amount of angle.
Yeah. All I'm running is the mild.
Yeah.
That's all that's on mine.
That works.
And
I ran the MIDI just alone
Yeah.
on the 70-degree setting. I did have to move the wiring harness. You know about all that. I was rubbing holes in my wiring harness and having all kind of issues there. That's the only thing that you have to really do to make that work. Wheel spacers and wheel specs. As long as you've got it well planned out, it works. Yeah,
the first set of wheels I had on it rubbed really bad. So I had to go, and I can't even remember what my offset is now.
Yeah, I'm running 18 by 9 plus 30 in the front with a 1 inch wheel spacer.
Okay. I think I'm plus 25s. And I think I might have a little old 1/4 inch spacer or something, just enough to make it move just a little bit.
Yeah. And in the rear, I actually did CTS.
Okay.
Conversion.
The calipers, yeah.
Yeah. No, with the lug pattern.
Oh, the different hook.
So I run 114.3.
Oh,
I'm using the spacer in the front, conversion spacer.
Mm-hmm.
But in the rear, so the problem was last year is I could only run an 8.5 inch wheel because I had that spacer on there. There was already, I'm running a 245 tire on a 8.5 inch wheel, and I've got the poke, a lot of poke.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't run like a 9.5. It was just too much.
Yeah.
Monster truck. So
Chicano, man.
Yeah. So I actually ended up doing the CTS conversion where the CTS hub bolts directly on.
Okay.
And then you got to re-drill your rotors. So I bought a CTS rotor,
mm-hmm.
and then I got a drill press. So I just lined it up, marked my holes, and drilled my holes and bolted it all on there. So now I'm running a 9.5 inch wheel plus 10. But now I can run 265s, 285s, whatever.
And them still be tucked, or at least
no, it looks normal.
Not sticking
I mean,
out.
it's like poking a little bit.
Yeah.
Normal drift car. It looks like a normal drift car. It doesn't
Yeah.
look monster truckish or none of that.
Yeah. Monster truck. I love it. Well, I had another question, and I think I just lost it. So I'm trying to remember what I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you something else about the same thing. No, it's gone. Old man.
Yeah,
Old man, it's out of here. So, C5, yours is a Z06.
Yeah.
What's in the motor?
So it has a fast 92?
92.
92 intake, headers, unknown cam because it came in the motor.
I feel you on that.
Yeah, I don't know what it
feel you.
is. It was a Copart car, so
Oh, nice.
You don't really know. I don't know its history. I just know it's been solid. And the clock says 200 and some thousand miles. The way that I'm beating on that thing, it's been through. I'm pretty sure. And it came with an RPM transmission.
Oh, nice.
So somebody, they road raced it or whatever. So it's been gone through. I did do some head work. Got poured and polished heads. Got the double beehive springs.
Yeah.
I upgraded all the head stuff because you're beating on it 7,000 RPMs.
Yeah, you're turning it up there.
So, but that's basically it.
I know what I meant to ask you. Dual calipers in the rear?
No,
inline. Just inline.
PBM inline kit.
That's what I am.
And it works. The only weird thing about it, and you've experienced this probably, is with the foot brake.
Yep.
It feels weird.
Trying to learn how to left foot brake. I've hydraulic mine a couple times.
Yeah, you can't do both at the same time. That's for
right.
sure. Like the pedal gets all weird and stuff. But we're not supposed to be doing that anyway.
I locked mine down solid one time, and I was like, and it would not move. I was stomping on the brake pedal, finally get it loose, and it finally did.
I had that happen to me in an event.
Yep.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, literally, like you said, it hydro locked.
Yeah.
And just locked me completely up. My foot brake and all that was just completely locked up. And like you said, give it a good few punches, and
it finally
come back to life there. I had to heat wrap a bunch of my brake and clutch stuff though.
Yeah.
Because I was having that, it's a common C5 issue where the clutch stays to the floor.
Yeah, I've had that happen a few times.
I ended up wrapping all that in heat material or whatever, and I installed a Lincoln filter spring,
Okay.
return spring. That fixed my problems. A lot of people talk about having to do other stuff. That's all mine.
Well, we just got through doing a master and slave in this car because of that.
Yeah.
Well, it had actually blown a seal out though, so it was leaving a puddle.
Yeah.
And I would have to even with it just sitting in here in the shop, if I need to move it, I'd run over here and grab a little bit of fluid and put it in the thing and pump it up just to be able to back it out.
Yeah, that's the drift car life right there.
That's right. It's part of it. We got to adjust the shifter on it. It wants to pop out of first gear every once in a while. So I was the whole time we were doing the Hot Rod Power Tour ride along thing, I was having to start in second gear.
Oh man,
it wouldn't even go in first gear when it got hot. It just quit.
I got a funny story about shifter. That reminded me of the last event. So Taylor Hull was actually at the last event.
Yeah, I know Taylor.
And he's in his the Drift Carlo.
Yeah, the Monte Carlo, the
yeah.
the C6 with the Monte Carlo.
Carlo body. He's got Dale Earnhardt theme black.
I've been telling him he needs to bring me that car.
It's so cool.
I'll really make it look like Dale's car.
It's so cool though.
That's what I do.
He was we were on the track. He was chasing me, and I come off the track, and I went to go shift the gears, and my shifter was just like doing this. I mean, it was insane. I was like, what is going on here? But it would still go into gear. It would go into first and second. But I mean, it was like I was driving a big truck or something.
You're throwing it a lot further than you should have.
And I was like, oh man, I didn't broke my transmission. Something is wrong. I'm freaking out because this is like in practice before comp. I'm like, oh man, like I didn't spend all this money and all these tires. I'm here and I'm doing it. Go in the pits and start pulling stuff apart. And where the shifter, that plate that bolts to the linkage or whatever there, it's like 4 bolts.
Yep, the little rectangle.
3 of them were gone.
So it was moving.
The whole shifter was moving. So it was still going into gear, but
it's hilarious.
The entire thing was moving.
Oh my god!
And lucky for me, some other guys next to me. It's the drifting world, right?
Yeah.
And so it's another C5 Corvette. Actually, they had a whole operation. Now this guy was pro charged, and they had a trailer. They had matching shirts. They're the real deal. Whatever. They had nice toolboxes and
that happened to
extra
us last
stuff.
week. Here's some bolts. We know exactly what.
Yeah, well, I went over there and I said, "You got this?" And the guy's like, "Let me look." You know what? He had those exact bolts, Allen head,
nice
thread pitch,
nice,
literally the exact bolt,
nice.
And I was like, I don't know what I would have done because where am I going to find this? Maybe I could have found something that would have worked. Well, I will say one of them was still kind of hanging around. So there's one that was still tight, and then another one that was just kind of loose. I could have tightened it back down and catty cornered them so that maybe it would have been okay. It's one of those situations where it's like, well, we're gonna do what you can do.
Yeah, absolutely.
If or the other thing I was thinking about was like, well, this is a second gear track. Just gonna put it in second gear and just
leave it be, baby. Hope I don't have to back up.
Yep.
That's awesome. I had something like that happen one time in that truck on the round track during, I don't remember if it was, I think it was just during a practice run. And, man, that was with a Super T10 with the linkage on the outside, the 3 arms.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? And 3 arms with heim joints and the whole deal. And I come ripping out of the pits, and you're trying to make time. You're coming around the access road, and you shifting. You're up into 3rd gear, and then you're going for 4th gear, coming down the back stretch. And I hit 4th gear, and the thing, it was just a little short throw is what it was supposed to be, and it came way back here, and I hit my arm on the seat, and I was like, what the heck? And I went like this and picked it up, and the whole thing was, all the bolts had fell out of it. And I pulled the arms and everything up through that and just laid it in the floor and coasted back around into the pits.
Yeah.
Every bolt had come out of the darn thing, and they were gone. That happened on the way around the track, so I was digging around in the bolt bin trying to put my linkage back together to be able to race that night.
That's just the racing in general. I always do a bolt check on my car too before every event. I know a lot of guys. I know y'all don't be doing that.
Me too.
You should
now.
start doing that.
Yes, you should. Me too. Now.
Yeah. Well, so that's one thing I don't. I would never bolt check that.
Yeah.
Well, I never would have thought about that. But I do. I bolt check my front end, and so that's something I learned in FD.
Yeah.
Because we bolt check that car.
Oh yeah.
Before literally
I
practice.
was gonna say between every run.
You're bolt checking the car all the time.
Yeah.
And it's pretty common if you go on some of these forums, or they're not really forums anymore, but the drift Facebook pages, and people talk about, well, like, this kit's crap because this thing came loose. And it's like, this Heim joint is not designed to tighten and forget it.
Yeah.
Heim joints will come loose.
People don't realize what vibrations do to that kind of thing. The harmonics and and all that vibrations going on will back a bolt out.
Yeah, so to me it's important. I also don't want to be the guy that my tie rod comes flying off and then my wheels are like this and I hit something. I also don't want to be the guy where my tire flies off either. So I torque my wheels down.
Yep.
Before I was in FD, I was like 2 ugga-duggas, right? We're good. And so, but FD, I learned a lot. I learned so much, like the little attention to details.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be that guy. And even in FD, we see it. We see it happen.
Yeah.
People's wheels fall off. Things happen. People make mistakes.
Yeah.
So bolt check and a torque wrench will go a long ways, and you won't be that guy.
Absolutely.
That's just my opinion. You guys can do what you want, but my wheels won't be flying off unless it just breaks. Unless it just breaks.
I love it. I love it. Well, check it out, man. We've got about 5 minutes left here tonight. It's been awesome having you on here. So, shoot out your all your social media and then your sponsors, any of that stuff. Give them all shouts, man. Let's hear what you got to say about that.
Okay, so you can find me Slide_Society33. That will be Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. I'm Bougie Redneck 33.
I love that.
On Facebook, I guess you have to look up my name to find me. I don't know if that's Slide Society or not. You'll see the picture of me in my car on Facebook. As far as my sponsors go, big shout out to Ronnie's Auto Body. That would be Daniel Cruz and Shelly Talbot. They painted my car. They paint any panels. If I go crash something up, they're going to paint me a panel. I'm going to have it.
Nice.
That is freaking awesome.
Fantastic.
They're out of South Boston, Virginia. So if you're in that Virginia area and need anything done, especially hit a deer or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to take care of you. So JD Raffield with J-Speed Tuning, talked about him earlier.
Yep.
He does all my tuning, also anything that I need done, like with the cage or anything. He runs a high-speed, a performance shop, LS-based performance shop.
Cool.
In Gastonia, North Carolina. Dyno tunes, big engine builds.
Nice.
He specializes in drift tunes, so get that guy.
Nice.
Right now on the East Coast, he's one of the bigger guys that you go to a Catch My Drift event.
Mm-hmm.
He's tuned 4 or 5 of those cars in that
nice.
field. So, and he's going to be there, so you get track support.
Very cool.
He'll hop in the car with the laptop and make small adjustments.
Nice.
So, that's all. He's awesome. Let's see, who else do I got? I got Nonstop Tuning. They do lug nuts. So big shout out to Mike, who owns NST.
Nice.
He does lug nuts, steering wheels, pulleys, those kind of things. You can order from them online. Super cheap, fast shipping.
Nice.
I ordered some lug nuts last time. They came in like 2 days.
Nice.
And they got the ionized or whatever, all the different colors.
Yeah.
Cosmos racing wheels. I know that you have a different wheel deal going on, but I'm running Cosmos. They're awesome.
I ran Cosmos a couple of years ago. I loved them.
They're awesome. I smacked a curb going about 60 miles an hour at VIR going up the hill.
Yeah.
It's the rumble strip. It's kind of like a curb.
But it starts as
I smacked it sideways and that wheel didn't bend.
No kidding.
So I am a believer.
I ran Cosmos wheels a couple of years ago. I ran them on that car up there, the competition car. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. They're so they're awesome.
Yeah.
Who else do I got? My brand, the Bougie Redneck, bougieredneck.shop.
Bougie
Go
Redneck.
there. Also, Hunky Dory Design. That is Olivia Walsh. She designed my livery.
Oh, nice.
So she can design.
It looks really cool.
She can design you guys a livery. She's done a bunch on the East. She's on the East Coast.
Nice.
All this stuff's on the East Coast. But
Nice.
like Nonstop Tuning, you can just order online. So.
Well, and tell her to send those designs to me, and I'll do the printing and installing.
Yeah, that could work out. That could work out.
I've done a lot of Joker. This is installs, and a lot of his cars. So a lot of his designs end up going through my shop and get put on around here. So yeah.
I think that's it.
Happy to chime in and do a little collab on that deal.
Absolutely. So we see Ronnie's Auto Body,
Make sure we
JSP.
got
Look,
them all.
I'm not a rehearsed NASCAR guy, right? And they
You
spit
don't
it
have
off real
you
fast.
don't have the patches on your shirt like they do to read them off.
Yeah, I know how many I'm supposed to go through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's everybody.
All
If I
right.
miss somebody, I'm super sorry. I will make sure I drop it in some comments or
That's
something.
right.
You know?
We'll go back and edit it back in. That's no sweat. Super glad you could come and join us, man. We've had a blast tonight. It's been awesome.
It's been very fun.
So we will see you next Saturday at the Nashville Super Speedway.
I sure hope so. Potentially,
You better be there. I'm going to drag the car out there.
Yeah,
so.
we'll make that happen. I do know, like I said, I think there's some family coming in, so I gotta sort that out. But
bring
it's-
them all. What a better way to spend the
Absolutely,
July 4th weekend than getting Slydewayz out here.
absolutely.
And
If,
then the 7th, they've got that little competition up there in Clarksville too.
okay, I'm gonna try to hit that, and also your August event. I'm gonna try to make it to that one too. So
That'll be a good one. That'll really be a good show.
Try to make it as many as I can while I'm here. You
That's
know.
right. That's right. And then you got LS Fest in September,
Yep.
and then you're headed back home. So glad you could come. Glad you're in town for a little while. Glad you could come to be on the show. We really appreciate it. Guys, so like you said, we've got a couple of really cool events coming up here. Like NASCAR's in town this weekend. Next weekend, it's us at the Nashville Super Speedway. We're going to do a little slide and shine out there July the 6th. Gates open at 8 for the drivers, 10 for the spectators. It's $20. We're giving free ride-alongs all day long. Come out there and ride in a drift car or ride in an autocross car. There can be some really slick cars to ride in on either side of the track. There'll be vendors, there'll be RC drifters to check out. There's going to be a couple of new vendors coming out to have some fun. I think like a motorized scooter guy is going to come out and actually rent scooters, so maybe you're not going to be on foot the whole time you're at the track. So come out there and check that out. And then August the 3rd, I believe it is, right after Cars and Coffee, we're going to have the first ever Music City Muscle Car Challenge at the Nashville Super Speedway. Big car show. There'll be autocross and drifting going on at that one as well, so it'll be a lot of fun. Before you leave, be sure and smash that like button and follow button and subscribe button. Spotify, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all those different platforms. Be sure and help us grow our audience so we can bring you more killer content like this. It's been a great night. We will see you next week. Get Slydewayz with me, Barry Clapp. See you next week.